This is the Manga Xanadu Manga Dome podcast. I am your host, Laurie Henderson. Join me on this journey into the world of manga, where a river of reviews flow through caverns of commentary down into the latest news. Welcome to the Manga Dome. Episode 63, X-Men the Manga. This week's manga. I found a couple more titles this week, doubling the list from 2 to 4. Attack on Titan No Regrets Volume 1 from Kodansha has been long awaited by fans, and for good reason. The story of Levi's and Erwin's meeting and teaming up is finally told, and Levi gets to show how awesome he can be. He's almost as good as Mikasa. I haven't read the first volume of Vertical's Card Fight Vanguard, but I trust the company enough to recommend Volume 2. I've come to like the Madoka spin-off manga, so I'm looking forward to reading the second volume of Puella Magi Madoka Magica, The Different Story Volume 2. And I like Sword Art Online enough to be curious about Sword Art Online Fairy Dance Volume 1 to want to read it. In the news, Shueisha's Weekly Shonen Jump has announced that it will have 4 new titles launching over the next 3 issues. My Hero Academia is a new title from Koei Hirokoshi, the creator of Barrage. The new story is set in modern day, where people with powers are commonplace. A boy named Izuku Midoriya has no powers, but he still dreams. It will start in the issue out July 7th. Soreike Yugo-kun is a 3-chapter gag manga about chemical reactions and follows Yugo, a boy who makes things happen when he combines substances together. It will debut in the issue out June 30th. Mitsukubi Condor will be out July 14th, and Yo Akemono will launch July 19th. It will be interesting to see if any of these new titles come over to the English version. If My Hero Academia does well enough, I think it has a good chance, since English readers are already familiar with Hirokoshi's work and liked it more than Japanese readers. Akita Shoten's Play Comic magazine will cease publication with the issue out July 25th. The magazine started in 1968 and was home to such notable titles as Lenji Matsumoto's Space Pirate Captain Harlock and Osamu Tezuka's Book of Human Insects. While nothing currently running in the magazine has been licensed here, it's sad to see a magazine with such a long history go. Clamp just can't leave well enough alone. They have announced that a new Tsubasa manga will launch in Kodansha's magazine special on August 30th. It will be a miniseries with another story, whatever that means. It will also be connected with Holic Ray. It seems all Holic manga must have a Tsubasa counterpart. I haven't read Tsubasa, so I can't say if that is really good or bad. Crunchyroll Corner. Crunchyroll jumped on the new title bandwagon and announced, along with a new version of their mobile manga app, 5 sort of new titles. All of them are J-manga license rescues. Present for Me is a collection of 7 short stories by creator Masakazu Ishiguro, the creator of Soredemo Machi wa Mawa Teriru. Crayon Shin-chan is on what? License rescue number 4? 5? I think we should just let sleeping kids lie. Then there are 3 titles from Takao Saito, the creator of Golgo 13. Barum 1 is a superhero title with 2 friends, Takeshi and Kentaro, who merge to form Barum 1 and fight an evil being and his monsters who are wreaking havoc on mankind. Doll, the hotel detective, follows the adventures of Doll, a hotel detective assigned to protect important guests at the luxurious Sunrise Hotel. The Shadow Man follows Katagiri, who was the subject of an experiment by the evil organization Relish. After fleeing from them, he discovers at night he turns jet black and gains super strength and the ability to jump great heights. He turns on his creators and begins fighting Relish. I am glad to see more of J-Manga's catalog coming back. They had such an eclectic variety that would probably only work under a model such as Crunchyroll. I wonder what else will return. The Top 10 Department. This week at VizManga.com, it's the top releases of June, beginning with Seraph of the End Volume 1 at number 1. Dead Man Wonderland Volume 3 is at number 2, and is followed by Nisekoi Volume 8 at number 3. One Punch Man Volume 3 comes in at number 4, and is followed by Boys Over Flowers Jewelry Box at number 5. All You Need Is Kill, the manga adaptation, Volumes 1 and 2, come in at 6 and 7, respectively. One Piece Volume 71 comes in at number 8, Toriko Volume 22 comes in at number 9, and Millennium Snow Volume 3 ends the list at number 10. No real big surprises here. All of the volumes on the list charted and charted well. All You Need Is Kill did well with their double whammy of both volumes making it, but was there little doubt with the adaptation by Takeshi Obata? I'm still happy to see Millennium Snow's new volume make the list, but it would have been nice to see more than just 2 shoujo. Over at the New York Times bestseller list, the Titans are doing just as I predicted, but are kept back from the top spot by, of all things, a mecha. For the week ending June 21st, 2014, it's a vertical title on top. Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin Volume 6 debuts at number 1. Attack on Titan Volume 1 moves up to be stopped at number 2. Fairy Tail Volume 39 debuts at number 3, as One Piece Volume 71 moves back to number 4. Attack on Titan Volume 2 moves up 4 to number 5, while Kami-sama Kiss Volume 15 moves up to number 6. Number 6, Volume 7, debuts at number 7, along with Say I Love You Volume 2 debuting at number 8. Attack on Titan Volume 3 returns at number 9, and Attack on Titan Volume 10 ends the list at number 10. Didn't I say the Titans would be back? They're making their move again, adding to their already extensive times on the list. But Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin gets the spotlight as another new volume not only hits the bestseller list, but debuts at number 1. Haven't all of the volumes done this? I'm happy to see some shoujo intermingling with all of the shonen, especially Say I Love You. I didn't expect to like its title with its very familiar premise, but it's actually really good and deserving to make the list. X-Men the Manga. When I say X-Men the Manga, I don't mean the Del Rey graphic novel titles that only got 2 volumes of before being dropped. No, this is a series that was originally published in Japan back in the 1990s and was brought over by Marvel Comics as it tried to capture manga readers. I first learned about this series in an article by Jason Thompson for his House of 1,000 manga column titled Manga Hell Part 1. Down in the 6th circle, reserved for heretics, it got a 1-line mention with the adjective abysmal attached to it. At that moment, it became my mission to find and read this series. I was fortunate enough to find it without actually spending money on it, because the thought of putting it into my collection, or worse, trying to find someone else to buy it from me, seemed against the Geneva Convention. This manga is a retelling of the 1990s animated series, starting with the introduction of Jubilee to the X-Men. It ran for 26 issues and covers the first volume of the manga. I have to admit, Thompson's description of the title as abysmal wasn't far off. This thing is bad. I don't know if it was the writing or the translation, but there were some lines that were just cringeworthy, and it seems most of them were given to Storm. She makes proclamations such as "have at thee" or cheesy calls to her powers. It almost hurt to read some of these chapters. Okay, all of these chapters. The title was actually drawn by 3 different artists and has 3 different styles, but this is never mentioned anywhere. All of the credit for the art is given to Hiroshi Higuchi, making you wonder if this guy was on drugs for part of it. Halfway through the series, the art changes from your standard mediocre manga art to a cartoony gag manga style, as Colossus is introduced along with Juggernaut. When I first started reading this chapter, I thought it had gone into a comedic omaki. Nope. After the chapters with Colossus were done, the style just kept on going. What was really disturbing was when the story arc moved into Days of Future Past, the art took on a realistic look for the future, but returned to the mediocre shonen style in the past. While the series was bad, I don't regret reading it, in the same way I don't regret watching most MST3K Rift Track movies. These are bad, but in a funny way. If comics were to be Rift, these would be at the top of the list. What's scary, though, is that this series went on for 13 volumes in Japan. 13! It is really unbelievable that something this poorly done could get such a long run. One thing that was cool in reading these old floppies was seeing the ads, and there were a lot of them, such as Blade the movie, the first one, on VHS or DVD. Reading this X-Men the Manga is a good reminder that not everything from Japan is good, and that not all media tie-ins will work. But I do applaud Marvel for at least making the effort and going with a title that would have had a chance had it been good. Instead, they get the comics equivalent of the raspberries. Thank you for listening to the Manga Xanadu Manga Dome podcast. You can find links to the stories and books discussed here in the show notes at manga.jdragononline.com. You can email me with any questions at xanadu@jdragononline.com or leave a comment on this post. Rate me on YouTube and follow me on Twitter at Manga Xanadu, all one word. Until next time, farewell from the Manga Dome.